Good morning. I just wanted to pop on here because I was feeling super inspired. I actually watched like a free webinar yesterday by someone that I love to follow. And so then it got me diving into it. So part of my morning routine is I typically will listen to a podcast or an audiobook or anything like that. And I just had a few beliefs pop up, and I'll probably do a podcast on this, but I just wanted to touch on it for a few minutes. I've got my little notes here in front of me. But just kind of talking about shifting identity, because this is a lot of what my course covers, is getting past those negative beliefs. That's what I want to help you do, is just get over some of those limiting beliefs that are holding you back and really take the will of your life. And I just is what happens when you take different action. You kind of start to become this new person or this better version of you, because again, that person that you are aspiring to become or that you wish you were, she is really inside of you. You just have to find her and dust her off, pull her out. And to do that, you have to take different action. So let's just say a situation comes up and your kids are running around crazy and you're getting overwhelmed. And sometimes you just like allow it to hit that point and then you just snap and you're like, oh my gosh, knock it off. What would the better version of you do in that situation? Kind of think about like asking yourself that. The thing that I've had to ask myself lately is I'm trying to figure out like my emotional trigger to shopping right now. And I'm really not a huge shopper. I'm not a huge spender. But something I heard really made a lot of sense to me yesterday is they say sometimes you'll either hoard money because, hello. Oh, thank you. I wish I could see who's commenting. I'll have to hop on Facebook. It doesn't show me who's commenting when you hop on. It just says Facebook user. Thank you so much for popping on here. Anyways, so my trigger for shopping, trying to figure that out. And no, I don't spend a ton, but every now and then I'll get, and I talk about it a lot, actually, like my web surfing habit I used to have, but it's feeling some sort of emotional void or whatever. But I'm starting to realize as I'm digging deep into this and into myself and learning more about myself, I was listening to a podcast the other day and she actually made a comment about how sometimes we don't value ourselves enough to think that we're worthy of spending money on ourselves. Does that make sense? So it's more like we hoard all the money in our savings account and we leave it there because we're in a scarcity mindset, or we don't think we're worthy of spending it. We don't deem ourselves valuable enough to be able to spend some of the money that we worked so hard to earn. And so this is why a lot of us stay stuck in kind of our scarcity mindset. This is totally not the direction I was planning on going today, but here we are on scarcity mindset and just becoming a new person. And you can really do that by diving deep. And that one actually hit me really hard because I don't spend a ton of money. And I'm almost wondering if I'm on the opposite of not thinking I'm worthy enough to spend the money. And I don't know, it's just interesting. And then you dive back into kind of experiences that happened in your childhood and some of those pivotal moments. And you're like, oh my gosh, right there. I know the moment that I remember so clearly. And it was one time that my mom had taken me shopping. So if you know my mom, she hates shopping, absolutely hates it. I love it. But there was one time she took me shopping. She bought me an outfit. And I remember coming home and I was so excited. It was the best day ever. And we get home and my stepdad at the time actually kind of, you spent how much on that? I can't even believe you did this, and this whole thing. And obviously the relationships are different now with all of these people, but looking back on that moment, that's actually a moment that I have held on to until now. And so I've just been working through that actually just the last few weeks on releasing the emotion from that, and it's okay. And so let's circle back and just think about taking different action in your life and becoming the person that you want to become. You do have to let go of a lot of those past things that have happened. But I do like what she said. And this is where like this whole experience kind of came in. She said, Be more of who you are and less of who you were programmed to be. So if you think about childhood, and again, I always go to money mindset because this is one that I struggled the most with and actually am still working through. But if you go back to how you were programmed, how you were being raised, your money mindset is solidified in your childhood. I believe that they say that your mindset around money as a whole is solidified by the age of 8. I think that is so mind-blowing, so crazy. But if you think about what your kids hear in the home, money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. No, mom doesn't have any money for that. Or, just any of those things. Or remorse purchases and you return purchases. Just all the things that your kids are like little sponges soaking it up. And so that's how we were programmed growing up. We were programmed by the way that we were raised. Beliefs that we held on to about how relationships should look, how money works, how a home should function. All of it are just, they cause the beliefs that we are held on to, possibly your religion that you have. And it seems that a lot of times those beliefs kind of take over the will of our life and start to steer us forward. But because I feel like a lot of people truly don't take enough time to sit down and dive into where your beliefs came from, why you're holding on to them. Ask yourself, are they still serving me? And being able to release the ones that are no longer serving you and take that will of your life back over. And so I loved another thing that she had said was, I talk about this a little bit. I think I talk about this on a couple podcast episodes because I mention this a lot, but pretend like you're going upstairs and you're leveling up your life. This is your goal. You're leveling up your life, and there's the new version of you that you're aspiring to be and that you're working toward, but there's also that old version of you that's still down here. Now let's pretend that there's like a chain around your waist and you get up 2 steps, but then this old version of you is like, no, come back to comfy. Because of course, as you're leveling up your life and stepping into a new realm, it feels a little bit uncomfortable. And our brains naturally are developed and designed to protect us. And so when things start to feel scary, start to feel uncertain, it's super easy for that old self to grab a hold of that chain and yank you back down those stairs, because the old version is comfy. It's what you've practiced your whole life. It's what you've lived in your whole life. It's what you know. Now you're stepping into the unknown. And not only does that make you nervous and kind of scared, now that makes the people who are still stuck in the old version a little nervous and scared. And that's when you get family starting to make some of those comments, or friends starting to make comments, like, oh, big shot, or who do you think you are? Or I would really hope your friends wouldn't say this to you, but they say it out of love. And it's like, sometimes your parents or whoever will be saying something like, are you sure you want to do that? Oh, I hope it works out. And you can tell that they have a lot of doubt in their mind. And that is them projecting their belief of a certain situation onto you. They don't believe that they can do that. And so they struggle to give you that full support without the cautionary tale they've got to tell. So I hope that makes sense. But the last thing that I did want to touch on that really hit home today was, you do not need the thing to give you the feeling. You don't need more money to be happy. You don't need a great lover to make you happy. You don't need a big, beautiful house to make you happy. You need to be happy. So when you do have those things, it just levels it up. It levels it up. But if you can't be happy with what you have now, you're never going to be happy with what you have later. And so I actually just really loved, she put it in very different words, but that was kind of my takeaway from that was just thinking about what you're attaching your happiness to, and you get to decide. You get to decide how your life goes, and you can either go back to watching your old TV program, or you can take different action. Thank you so much for being here today. I just wanted to pop in. That ended up much longer than I anticipated, but thanks so much for listening. If you made it through, kudos. Drop a comment, say hello. Talk to you later.